What's up, y'all? It's Miles the Millennial,
And it's your boy Rex Howard Jr.
and this is Let's Talk Like Men, the podcast where we have real conversations giving real advice about real topics to men like you everywhere.
Yes,
And we're
sir.
back again for another episode. I believe this is episode 25, man. We are
Nice.
on a journey. Things are going great. Rex, how are you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm blessed. Man, I just had a wonderful weekend. Spent time with my lady, was able to start our wedding planning.
Yes, sir.
Get on the phone, making some real decisions about what's coming next. And just being able to enjoy being fiancés.
Yes.
Which is something that has been kind of, I'm not gonna say difficult to process, but it's just been interesting to process because it really hasn't truly hit me yet.
Yeah.
But I slipped up yesterday and I called her my girlfriend.
Yeah. She corrected that quick, huh?
She said, "We ain't your girlfriend no more."
Uh-huh.
And I was like, you know what? I'm new to this. My first week out here.
Exactly.
So that's how I'm doing, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Bro, I have been dealing with a lot of rejection recently, man. And that's been a tough thing to kind of battle through just from a business perspective. No's after
Yeah.
no's, people not coming through and doing what they say they're going to do,
Yeah.
and you holding on to those promises and they're not showing up.
Yeah.
But God has been talking to me and telling me, like, you knew this when you signed up for
Yeah.
it. This is what you asked for, and
Yeah.
this is just a part of your journey. If you stay with me, if you don't leave me and you go with me every single day, I'm going to get you there. That's what he keeps telling me. So I'm trusting in him. He's given me a lot of peace in a lot of areas of my life. He's given me a lot of success in a lot of areas of my life. Like, things are just coming together well. So I can't complain about one area not being where I want it to be yet,
Yeah.
because I knew it was going to be a slow roll, and that's okay.
Absolutely. That reminds me of, like I said, when I first made my drive to Houston in December 19th of 2020, God gave me a vision, right? Being on big stages, talking to masses of people, and just impacting the world.
Yes.
But He didn't give me a win.
Yeah.
He
That's
didn't give me a
real.
how. He just gave me the vision.
Yeah.
So when I'm in school and I'm working Uber every single day, 5 to 6 hours of driving, when I'm working at the restaurant trying to figure stuff out, when I'm, passing these tests and in school, just low key just struggling and wanting to give up, he will remind me of the vision that he gave me
Yes.
every single time I had self-doubt. So it's not the matter of when, because he won't let you know, but it's that preparation that builds you up.
Absolutely.
The more no's you can handle, it's just going to prepare you for that yes.
Absolutely. You just
So-
getting one step closer.
Absolutely. So yeah, everything's on the way, bro.
Absolutely. One thing I want to really quick talk about is both our hoodies, right? You see our hoodies. Try
Absolutely.
therapy, not me, right? This is Rex's brand. Definitely reach out to him, support him. I tried therapy, right? I started therapy. I'm on my 7th week now.
It's amazing.
And I'm telling you guys, you need to do it. Every last one of you. I don't care if you think that you got it all together and you're pretty good at self-assessing yourself and dealing with your things. You don't feel like you have anything to go to therapy for. You do, because I was one of those people that didn't really think therapy was going to do too much for me, because I felt like I was pretty self-aware. All of us, we have different personality types, right? And that's one thing that I'm learning from my therapist. And I'm one of those intellectuals. And sometimes that intellectual person, they almost try to provide the therapy themselves,
100%.
tell the therapist what's wrong. And then what they have to realize over time is you really don't know. You really haven't gone as deep as you think. You know your conscious mind, but you don't know your subconscious mind.
Absolutely.
And some of your traumas. And so I really do think everybody needs to try therapy, no matter how deep you're in the hole and whether you think you're floating on top of the world, because we all go through things. And therapy just gives you a baseline that you can reset. You feel like you have somebody you can talk to and they're not going to judge you, interrupt you, or anything like that. You can get everything out.
Yeah.
And that's good for you. So, yes, brother, that has been a great thing. Try therapy.
Absolutely. And let me add to that, because we got always piggyback off each other.
Yeah.
One thing I mentioned on the podcast, not a podcast, I was at a live event. And I said, listen, those that want to try therapy and try coaching or just try talking to a counselor or consultant, realize that it's not microwave success.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight,
Yeah.
right? And I had everybody in the room. I said, if you're in your 20s, raise your hand. If you're in your 30s, raise your hand. If you're 40 and up, raise your hand. I said, you didn't become 40 overnight.
Yeah.
It took you 40 years. I was like, so when you finally give therapy a shot, understand that it's not going to happen in a week. It may not happen in a couple months. It
Yeah.
may take you some time to really unravel this mindset or these behaviors, these beliefs that you've been having in order to adopt new ones.
Yes.
So truly invest in the process. Be patient and gracious in the process with yourself and with your therapist, and also just really lock in.
Yeah.
All gas, no brakes. That's the only way that you're going to be successful.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll add to that is be open.
Yeah.
Like when you go to your therapist, the more you hold back, the more things you don't tell the full truth on, the more things you try to maneuver around, the longer it's going to take you to get to that first breakthrough, to get to the
100%.
next level of growth. So don't go to your therapist and then treat it like you treat everybody else where you're holding everything in,
Right.
right? That, of course, they're trained for that. They can work with you on that, but you are only slowing down your progress. I found the more open I am, the more honest I am, the quicker and more efficient I can learn.
100%.
So, and I'm sure you being a therapist, you can speak to that. That people who are more open and are willing to communicate what they're thinking, what they know, what they don't know,
Yep.
and voice that, it makes it a little bit easier on you to help them get to the next
Yeah,
phase.
and I give you a small example. I had a young client that came in, 15 years old. From day one, he knew what he was coming for. His mom knew he was coming for, but he didn't let me know until the 15th session.
Wow.
So we were just doing a whole bunch of filler stuff,
Yeah.
a whole bunch of just development type of things, working on anger, working on communication. But the whole time it was something even bigger that he was worried about. And when he finally brought it up, I said, okay, now the work starts.
Now the work starts.
15 sessions later.
Wow.
So, like I said, therapy gets really expensive when you drag your feet.
That's real.
So if you take advantage of that 60-minute, 45-minute, 50-minute time slot that you have, really be open, honest, vulnerable, transparent with your therapist and with yourself, and then you go home and do the homework. When you come back and you're open again, you're giving your therapist something to feed off of.
That's real.
So yeah.
All right, then. Well, that's awesome. That's actually going to work great with our topic for today. So, we're talking about therapy, right? We're talking about these ways that you can grow and help yourself mature, right? Well, today is going to be the start of a new series. This series we are going to call The Signs, right? And this is going to be a dope series that we're going to do, 4-part series where we're going to break down the signs of different aspects, right, of your life.
Yep.
Today is the signs that you're maturing into a healthy man, right? We go through our journey in life as young men, and just men at any age. You probably have gone through a period where you've either been toxic or you've been immature or you've had some wrong mindsets, expectations, and doubts, right? And you want to know, how do I know that I'm actually growing? How do I know that as I'm getting older, I'm getting wiser, I'm getting more mature, I'm becoming healthier in my thoughts, my mind, my body, and soul?
Yeah.
We're going to give you the signs today.
100%.
We are going to provide some tangible characteristics and mindsets that you can evaluate for yourself to say, do I embody these things? Am I prepared and am I in the place where I can say, oh yeah, the me 5 years ago was completely on the other side of this coin,
Yeah.
but the me now is there. And if you aren't there, this is something that you can work towards. Now you're going to have a playbook on how you can operate your mind to know that, okay, this is a more mature way of going about life. And for the ladies out there, take this as a way for you to evaluate the men that you run
100%.
into and be able to say, is this man mature? Does this man have a healthy mindset? Pay attention to the things that we say, and you can apply it to the men that come into your life.
That's good.
So, without further ado,
Hey,
let's talk like men.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Let's hop straight into the hot topic, Rex. So, passport bros. It's been a thing for a little minute now. I want to say for at least the last year or two. There's been a big movement of men who are leaving the U.S., going on trips to other countries, whether that's in South America or other places, and primarily with the intent of we're going there to get women,
Yep.
right? Whether that's to start relationships or sexual encounters, whatever it is, they're going overseas to deal with those women because they say dealing with the women here ain't worth it,
Right.
right? I want to know your thoughts on it, on the men who are a part of this movement. Does it make sense what they're doing? Is it okay? Is it healthy? Is it coming from a bad place? How do you evaluate it when you see this stuff? What do you think?
So I see it from multiple perspectives. From one, it's a lot of these men are some men that are really looking for something serious, and they realize that the women that they go meet on the others in the other countries, their values are different. What they pay attention to is different. They put a lot of focus on the house. They put a lot of focus on nourishing the man. They put a lot of focus on being there for their partner.
Yeah.
Right? Serving their partner.
Yeah.
And not going to say you can't get that here because you definitely can. It just may take a little bit longer to find it because everybody is looking for what they can get out of it and not what they can do for another person.
Yeah.
So I can't really judge the men that do it, especially if they have good intentions. Now, if you're going over there just to have sex, just to have a good time, then teach his own.
Yeah.
Right, teach his own. But I do feel like the main reason why men are doing it is because the responses they get, the affirmations they get, and the way they are served is a lot different than what they experience on this side.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. but I disagree
Okay.
from how I view
That's good.
why it's happening, right? I absolutely agree. I do think those men are going over there to fill a void that they're not getting here,
100%.
right? A need that they want, right? They want a woman in their life, like you said, that is submissive, that is nurturing, that is feminine. And that is a tough thing to find sometimes, right? With a lot of the mindsets that we see that women carry, it's in direct conflict. But one thing that we've already talked about first, the type of man you are in the first place is going to filter out a lot of those women, no matter
100%.
where you that are worth your time and provide those characteristics that you desire, and those that don't. And so, men, in my opinion, who have the characteristics and the mindset and the maturity, you're not looking at it when you go overseas. Oh, I'm going to find this woman that's going to have these submissive qualities.
Yeah.
It's wherever I go, the type of man I am.
Yeah.
This is the type of standard that I require, and I don't settle for less than that.
Right.
And I think a lot of men have settled for less than that, and what they don't realize, and this is the flip side of it, it's still a transactional relationship
100%.
because a lot of the women over there, they know why they're being nice to you. They know why they're being submissive to you. They know why they're serving you because they're trying to get that card to come over here.
100%. Yep.
They are trying to get from where they are, come to the U.S. and become a citizen. And this is a known thing. The same thing with men over there that will fall in love or quote unquote fall in love with American women because they want that card so they can come over here.
Yeah.
Marriage is an automatic way for you to get put in that system and to get citizenship.
That's very true.
So I think you're falling for the same trick. It's just in one perspective, at least you do get what you want out of it.
Right.
But it all ends the same. It's not genuine.
Right.
It's all transactional. It's all about what can you do for me. And once I get what I want, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think the real solution, instead of going overseas to try and fill a void, is for you to learn how to fill that void yourself.
That's good.
For you to learn how to become a man that doesn't seek the validation of another woman in the first place. Because when you get that together yourself, you're going to attract the woman, your wife, no matter where you are, that's going to have those qualities.
I like that.
So I don't judge them, but I do think they are taking an easy way out
Okay.
to where they don't have to do certain work. Because too many men that have found that success over here and found that type of wife. Does it take some work? Yes. But leaders don't run from work or run from challenge. We run towards it.
That's good. I like that.
I love it. All right, man. Well, moving on to the topic of the day. We're talking about how men can assess whether they're maturing, right? And see if they're becoming a more healthy man. So, Rex, I want to know your point number one. How can a man tell if he has the sign? What's the first sign that a man is maturing?
Man, I think, first of all, let me say this. I think this episode is going to be absolutely phenomenal and transformational because of what we've already created.
Yes.
Right. And this morning I came up with just even more points. But the very first one I have is when you begin to be conscious about how your actions affect other people is a huge sign that you're maturing.
Yeah.
Right. And that's adopting the maybe it's me approach. Right. Think about it. When we were in college, and we thought about messing around. We didn't care about who was affected. We didn't care about what hearts are being broken.
Yep.
We didn't care about who said what or how they said it. Only thing we thought about was selfish. How can I please my flesh? How can I get what I want? How can I say what I need to say in order to get what I need to do? So with that being the case, it's when you become conscious about how your actions affect other people. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me that needs to change. Maybe it's me that's the common denominator. Maybe it's me the reason why my relationships aren't working. Maybe it's me the reason why women don't trust me, right? Maybe it's me the reason why people, share certain things with me but don't, may not do other things. Like maybe it's me. So once you adopt that maybe it's me approach, it's a sign that you're maturing, and it's a sign that there's areas of your life that you can heal.
Yes.
It's a sign that maybe it's time to go to therapy. It's a sign that maybe it's time to do some more deeper reflection and say, you know what? How can I stop becoming this person so I can start being and working towards becoming the person that God has created me to be?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the approach to take. So that's the first sign for me.
Bro, that's beautiful because it reminds me of one of the clips that went viral. It was when I was talking about how I would mess around with these girls, tell them what was up, and then think that I was off the hook.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't care about their feelings at that time. All I cared about was not being looked at as a liar.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not looked at as a liar, we good.
Yeah.
Everything else, hey, that's on you.
Yeah.
You put yourself in this position. And I saw how so many men responded to that. And I told them what was up. That's on them. The onus is on them. They grown women, this is that and that. And it's like, see, what we're missing here is emotional intelligence. And that's why this is not going to ever make sense until you get to that point.
Yeah.
This conversation can only go so far and comprehension can only go so far because your emotional intelligence is not at a place where you can understand yourself and understand others enough to realize how everything impacts another person.
100%.
When you get to a level of emotional intelligence, it requires empathy.
Yep.
You have to see how other people feel and put yourself in other people's shoes. And if you haven't done that work yet, you are not mature in that way yet.
Yep.
You are not healthy in your mindset of managing emotions and understanding how your actions affect others yet. So you're not ready.
100%. And it goes along with the conversation we had last week. When it comes to God and the women and men, he holds the man responsible.
Yes.
Right? He holds us responsible for the women that we have in close proximity, the women that are assigned us. He holds us absolutely 100% responsible.
Yes.
So with that being the case, yes, I'm going to always look to the man. If there's a broken relationship, yes, that's going to be the thing. Right? Of course, there's going to be areas of her life that she can become better at. But then again, if you become better in the areas of your life, if you become more conscious of how you do and how you say and how you move around people, then everything else is like a trickling effect, almost like a
Exactly.
domino effect.
Exactly.
So with that being the case, man, it's healing, it's becoming conscious, it's having that emotional intelligence enough to say, this is who I used to be. This is who I'm trying to become. So these are the patterns, these are the actions, these are the habits I need to change, recorrect, and redirect in order to get there.
That's so true, bro.
Yeah.
Women are mirrors.
Yeah.
They're reflection. So what you putting out, you're going to likely get back.
100%.
And if the woman you're dealing with is not a mirror and she's just a brick wall, well, then it's time for you to either go around it, go over it, or crash it down and leave.
Yeah.
One way or another. You can't be with a brick wall.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like you said, the onus will always be on men because our choices, our leadership, our actions, if you're with a woman who is following you, you might not realize it, but do the self-assessment. And we are men.
Yeah.
This is Let's Talk Like Men.
Yeah.
So the onus is on us when we have these conversations. Women can have their conversations in their atmospheres and talk about what they need to take accountability for and do better. But here and on this platform, and what I'm telling you guys today is when you come here, we're going to talk about the reality of how we have to be accountable.
100%.
Because
Every
when
single
we
time.
lead, the community is better.
100%. I'm reading this book by Tony Evans called Kingdom Man. And, you know, they got Kingdom Man, then they got the second version, Kingdom Man Rising. That's the second on my list. But it talks about that responsibility.
Yeah.
And how the failure, matter of fact, put like this, quick statistics. He said 70% of people that end up in jail come from a fatherless home.
Yeah.
Right? 60% of individuals that become rapists come from a fatherless home. Right? He said even when it comes to the wealthy side of things, you have a huge percentage of people, of kids that get neglected, that are getting abused, or just don't have their father around because they focus too much on work or focus too much on like being on a golf course. So with that being the case, when the man is present, things change. When the man is present, conversation changes. When the man is present, the confidence in the home changes. When the man is present, direction and leadership changes. So that's why we're gonna always put the responsibility on the man to make sure that they are doing, saying, and being the person they need to be in order to have the results that they want to have.
That's love, brother. And this is coming from love.
Yeah, 100%.
We're going to give you all those moments. We give y'all plenty of moments where we're venting and talking about the things that are going wrong or the things that we need help with, the things that we struggle with. But we also have to give you the accountability. So,
100%. What you got for your first point?
all right. So my first point is your concept of time changes, right? So when you are a young man, when you're immature, you think in 3 to 5 minutes. You may even think in 3 to 5 days or even 3 to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
That's short term to you. Short term to you is what now?
I ain't gonna lie, short term for me is like the next 1 to 2 years.
Perfect. Exactly. As you mature as a man,
Yeah.
months and years are the only things you're dealing with.
100%.
Days, that already is too late at that point. Things that are days away, it's like, okay, this is already gone too close. This might as well be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
At that point. A mature man starts to move his timetables in months and years at a time. Short term is 3 to 5 months or 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Long term is 5 to 10 months, not even months, can't even be months, 5 to 10 years, 20 years. And you start to operate yourself off of that timetable. So I think about it like this. When your time horizon changes from that months and minutes, your decision making changes.
That's good.
You don't think short term, you think long term. So when you're in the moment, and something is happening, you have a split second decision to make about how you're going to respond to the way somebody talked to you, how you're going to respond to a financial situation that arises, how you're going to respond to temptation that comes into your life. When you think long term, you say, well, is this short term decision really worth it? Because I can lose this, this, and this. And
100%.
those are too valuable. Versus when you think short term and you're immature. Everything that you're going on, you're just focused on the mere moment of pleasure that you have right now. And you're not thinking about the effects long term. So a man that is maturing thinks long term.
That's good. So let me ask you this: how does that show up in your life currently?
Man, so prime example, when I made the decision to leave my job, right, to go pursue full time with speaking and being an entrepreneur, I had to manage my finances
Yeah.
on a long term timetable. I said, man, if I only got 3 months safe, that's not enough for me to make this choice right now. I got a house. I'm preparing for marriage in the next year or
Yeah.
two. There are things that I have to have in order. And so unless I have a year or two worth of savings, this move can't happen right now.
Yeah.
I announced that I was leaving my job 5 months ahead of when I was going to be gone because I knew I needed time to make sure everything was planned. I could have chose to walk out within
Yeah.
2 weeks from there, but I had to put myself in that place to make sure that my long-term timetable was still going to be on track. When it plays out in terms of women, right? You go out and I'm hanging with my boys, and women might want to come up to you and talk to you. Women, I give a perfect scenario. We had a day party that me and my boys threw, and this was 2 Sundays ago. And I came in there, I look good. I ain't gonna lie, I look good. I had the sweater vest,
Wish
tank
I had
top,
that shit on.
the earrings in. And man, there was a couple girls that just kept, different girls that just kept eyeing me and doing the things that women do to try and tell you, like, come talk to me. Couldn't do that. Because if I make the decision to go talk to you right now, in this short term moment, to have
Yeah.
this conversation, what does that lead to? Yeah, in the short term, it might get my rocks off. It might make me feel good about myself, raise my confidence.
Yeah.
But in the long term, it's going to cost me my relationship. And I'm not willing to lose that. And so I can't give you no attention. I can't even play the across the room game with you to make you want me more. You have to become irrelevant. You can't matter. And
That's
so
good.
in real life, in real time, when you think long term, you start to realize what's worth it and what isn't worth it.
That's good. So what I'm hearing you say is a man that's maturing is a man that acts on facts, insights, and wisdom versus impulse.
Yes, exactly. That flesh, the
Yeah.
flesh is going to always be there. Like you said, impulse, you can't
Yeah.
stop impulse,
Yeah.
but you can stop your reaction to it and your response to it.
100%. And think about it. It's just like that RSA, rational self
Yes,
analysis.
sir.
All right, that's good. I really like that, man.
What's your point two, brother?
Man, let's see. So my point number 2 is when you value being a good person and having a good name, right? So the very first verse that popped up in my head was Proverbs 22:1. It states, "A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver and gold," right?
Yes.
Think about it. And all this kind of coincides together. When you are thinking about yourself, you don't care about having a good name, right? But think about what having a good name does for you,
Yeah.
right? It gives you respect, right? You can walk in rooms and your name's in rooms that you're not even in yet, right? When somebody wants to call up and ask you for a favor, they know, oh, Rex is good for it,
Yeah.
right? When your partner is asked about you in their friend group, oh, my man is good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When people speak on your name, it's respect, it's honor, it's intelligence, it's, oh, no, that's a great person. That's having a good name. But a person that doesn't have a good name is a complete opposite.
Yes.
You don't get that much respect, right? When somebody is trying to go through somebody else to find out more about you, they like, oh, nah, that ain't the good route to go. He ain't on that type of time. He gonna break
Yes.
your heart, right? He
Yes.
can't be trusted. When you don't have a good name, right, you're not honoring God. You're not honoring your body, right? You can't be trusted.
Absolutely.
So when you value having a good name and being a good person, when you value leading with your heart, and when you value just being a responsible adult, when you value taking care of somebody's heart, when you value the way you communicate, all of this is signs that you are maturing and stepping into the man that God has created you to be.
Damn, Rex. Let me tell you something. What you just said right there, especially when you got to that point where you start talking about valuing a person's heart, somebody else's heart. That is, to me, when you get to your highest level as a man.
Absolutely.
When you are so much in yourself, in terms of how you're going to love yourself, it allows you to truly love other people.
Yeah.
your respect for people, your respect for yourself, your respect for how you're going to maneuver in the world because you think about how everything not
Yep.
only impacts you but impacts others.
100%.
Maturity, man, and we can say this at this point already, like maturity is when you have the desire, not
Yep.
just the ability, because everybody has the ability, but when you have the desire to get yourself so in order that other people don't got to deal with the consequences of your bullshit.
That's good. That's real good.
That's maturity.
Yeah.
I care so much about getting myself in order because I don't want nobody else to have these problems. I don't want nobody else to have to suffer like the people that have been in my life before. This old version of me had to suffer.
Yep.
The people I've scarred, the people that I've put in position that trusted me and I failed them.
Yep.
When you're trying to become a healthy man, that stuff becomes so much more important. I got to get right because I know that not only do I need it, but my future wife is going to need it. My future kids are going to need it. My parents, people in this world are depending on me. And I'm not looking at that as pressure. I'm looking at that as an opportunity.
100%.
It's a choice. And when you mature, you choose that I'm going to do the right thing to keep that reputation solid. I'm going to do the right thing to keep my respect on par.
Yeah.
Because that's what God called me to be. I got to be that kingdom man.
I gotta be that kingdom man. And then to add to that, you just gotta truly ask yourself, is what I'm doing, who I'm being, what I'm saying, producing fruit?
Period.
If it is, then keep doing it, get better.
Yep.
And if it ain't, you gotta redirect, make
Yep.
some changes.
That's good. And so look, everything you do produces fruit. But some of that fruit might be toxic.
No, with 100%.
It might be poisonous to you.
100%. There's one thing that this one lady said to me that's gonna always stick with me. Spiritual lady. She said, Rex, where you are right now, who you are, you're on the verge of being a chain breaker,
Yeah.
a pattern breaker. She
Yeah.
was like, there's a lot of toxicness, there's a lot of dysfunction in your family, there's a lot of, I'm not gonna say conceitedness, but there's a lot of promiscuity in your family, and you got it in you too. But it's up to you to make a difference. It's up to you to do the healing. It's up to you to change your patterns and change your behaviors and change your ways of thinking and believing and just maneuver around this world, because if you don't, it's going to continue to show up
Yes.
in your family, right?
Yes.
There's another quote that says, a man, if a man doesn't kill the snake in his garden to show up in the garden of his sons.
Yes.
And these patterns, they don't just leave. They don't just go away. This ain't something you can just pray away. You got to pray, and then you got to work them.
Yeah.
You got to work them, and you really got to become more conscious and more aware of them in order to continue to bring them to the surface, expose them, and then get in a community to help you with individuals going to help you like work through them.
Man, you know what I'm hearing, man? Maturing, becoming that leader. Like, there's a lot of men that are leaders,
Yeah,
but we leading people to the wrong places.
100%.
And when you're a leader, the thing that I want you as a man to understand is you can either elevate people to be better or you can drag them down and make them worse. Either way, they going to follow you.
Yep.
People that have those natural leadership qualities, when you was getting on all the girls, all the homies, they with you. We getting on the girls.
Yep.
But when you say, man, I can't do this no more,
Yep.
it might be a tough transition for them. But when they see you getting yourself together, when they see you focusing on bettering yourself, it makes them want to better themselves.
Yep.
So you can elevate a whole community. You can elevate your whole family. People are watching. God didn't give you the ability to lead for you to go mess it off and to damage everyone.
Yep.
He did it so that you can help other people, so that you can elevate other people, so that you can bring more people to him and they can operate in godly ways. And so it's a responsibility that comes with being mature.
Man, let me add one more thing to that, because it goes right to your point. People are watching. When I finally did a hard launch with my lady on my page, right? There were so many people that was like, wow. Not only have you been, talking about relationships for the past couple of years, you've put your relationship on display, the ones that worked, the ones that didn't work. You share with us your failures, you share with your accomplishments. But it was like, but the fact that you finally popped out and she got a ring on her finger only speaks volumes to your character and your level of maturity and level of growth.
Yep.
And then the people that knew me in college and beyond that, they were just like, the man you are now compared to who you were then is completely different.
What?
And it's just, if you're not mature enough, that could feel like an attack.
Yeah.
But for me, that was an accomplishment. That was an applaud. That was somebody giving me my flowers, simply because the fruit that I'm being produced, the fruit that we're producing, the information that we're sharing on our page and our platforms, and who we are as men is helping people become better men and helping women pick better men.
I love that. I love it,
Yeah.
bro.
Yes, sir. So what you got for your next one?
All right, so point number 2. Another way that you can know that you're becoming a more mature man. First thing that's going to happen is your desire changes from things that give you pleasure to things that give you peace.
Talk about it.
And I'm telling you, I didn't understand it before when I was around my OGs, right? Like, why do they want to do everything so slow? Why do they want to do everything so quietly? They don't want to go into atmospheres that are loud and exciting? It's because that doesn't bring peace, right? When you're immature as a man, you desire meaningless things, meaningless sex, meaningless friendships, and meaningless environments.
Yeah.
With that comes a lot of drama, turmoil, inconsistency, and confusion. When you mature as a man, you want to go around places and people that give you peace, right? You want women that you hold to a higher esteem and have value. You want friends that you can trust and depend on.
That's good.
And you want places that bring you spiritual clarity.
That's good.
That gives you peace of mind and peace in your heart.
Yep.
So when you ask yourself, how does this apply to me? Well, if your heart's desire is to be in the mix right now, you're not there yet.
Yep.
You're not there yet. And that's okay, right? If your desire is to be seen, you're not there yet. If your desire is to be in the talk, of the talk, and around the talk all the time, to surround yourself with a bunch of women that you moving in and out, a bunch of people that you call friends but can never depend on, you're not there yet, brother. And that's okay. That is okay because you got to get there eventually.
Yep.
But you need to know that when you sit there and you look at yourself, and maybe because your bank account is in order and you pay your bills on time and you take care of other people in certain ways, that doesn't mean that your soul is right.
Yep.
And that doesn't mean your mind is mature.
That's good.
And so you really need to evaluate, what does your day-to-day look like when it comes to your desires? Your desires reveal where you're at in terms of your maturity. Because when I was a boy, I thought as a boy, right? When I was a child, I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. A man wants that peace. A man wants consistency. A man wants to wake up every day and know who gonna be there, what information they're about to receive, what energy is about to come into their life, and what they're about to do with their day. That's what a man desires. That's what a mature and healthy man desires. We don't want to wake up every single day in confusion with all these variables that we can't control. We want to be in a place where we can sit there and say, life is good, life is peaceful. And whatever variables pop up, I know I have the people around me and I've done the things in myself to be able to deal with them.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And the whole peace aspect is so good for two reasons. One is when you find that internal peace, when you find that peace in just being by yourself. I remember during my single season, I found peace in being at home, watering my plants, training my dog, and just, reading my books. I found so much peace in that, right? Even in my relationship. I've never been in a relationship in my life that was so peaceful.
Yeah.
Peace in knowing that when she goes out with her girls, there's no worries in the world for me. Peace in knowing that when she speaks on my name or speaks for me when I'm not around, that I don't have to worry about what's going to come out her mouth.
Yeah.
Peace in knowing that if I bring her around my guys or bring her around my family, that she's going to carry herself in a way that's respectful. And she's not doing this to act like she's something. She's doing this because that's who she is. Right? Peace in knowing that if I give her some information, my deepest, darkest secret, she knows what to do with it. Right? And she's going to keep it safe. She's going to keep it protected. That type of peace is what I would choose any day of the week. Right? Also, environmental peace. I grew up in a very rough type of neighborhood.
Yeah.
There was violence. There was gangbangs. There was a whole bunch of nonsense that was going on. So my body's already in hyperactive mode, hyperarousal mode whenever I'm out and about. So when it comes to having that specific type of environment to where, you can walk at 1 a.m. in the morning and ain't nothing gonna happen. You don't gotta keep looking over your shoulder, right? You can be somewhere and you don't have to worry about who's walking in the room or the people coming in with ski masks. Like, what are we doing?
A bunch of Quando Rondos.
Right, you feel me? So it's a different level of peace that comes with that. And once you choose that, once you choose what is good for you and what brings you peace, I mean, your life changes, your energy changes, and the things, your perspective changes, and it's just a whole different ball game.
Damn, Rex, that was enough. You did it again already. You on it though, but
Yeah,
that's the truth, man. Because I think back to college, and when you go to HBCUs, your college is in the hood. That's
one
just
hundred
that is just par
percent.
for the course. Like you and the Jets, and
Sheesh.
man, I can't tell you how many times like that was okay, right? That was cool. Like we going to the parties, we already expect it's gonna get shot. We're gonna be running by the end of the night, and that was fun, right? And I remember after I graduated, and you come back around for homecoming and stuff, and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, what move we gonna hit? And you think about the young party. I got Neos. Oh yeah, y'all come through. We gonna have a good time.
Yeah,
And you think about the grown folks party, maybe like an all white affair or
yeah,
whatever it is, a little brunch. First question I ask, where is that?
yeah, 100%.
Where is that? Okay, that's a respectable establishment. Or y'all throwing it on this street, not coming.
Yep,
Even to this day, when I go out, where is it at?
yep,
Where are we going to be?
yep.
If I have to go somewhere where I know I'm gonna have to look over my shoulders and I can't have peace, if I know I gotta walk in there strapped up, I'm gonna do it anyway just because that's
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
But when I'm doing it because I know that there's a high likelihood this is gonna go wrong, why am I there then?
100%.
If I have to feel this way, why am I there? And that's exactly what you're talking about with the woman that you choose to partner with. If I have to feel like I can't tell her these things because she's going to use them against me, why am I here?
Right,
That's not peace.
right,
Everything in your life, you shouldn't have to question.
right.
Everything that you have a choice on, you shouldn't have to question it. That's how you know that those things give you peace, give you certainty, and are good for you. Second, you got to question them.
It's a different ballgame.
It ain't peaceful no more. It's that confusion. It's that spiritual distortion that we've talked about before. So I love that, bro. You really did say something there because that woman plays a significant aspect into your peace. The places you choose to go plays a significant aspect to your peace. I don't want to go nowhere where I'm gonna have to be running for my life.
At
That's
all.
not fun no more.
At all.
It
Never.
wasn't fun then,
Yeah,
but I was
exactly.
immature.
Exactly. So let me add this last thing. This clip is going to be posted, and there's going to be some young lady in the comments, and she's going to say, well, what about my piece? Right? So let me answer that. Everything that we say that
Yes,
applies to men applies to you as well.
absolutely.
Right? We're supposed to be your peace as well. We're supposed to give you a sense of peace when we go out and with our guys. So you know that we're going to be faithful, we're going to be
Yes,
loyal, we're going to respect you. We're supposed to give you peace in knowing that if you give us information that's close to you that you maybe not told anybody before, it's our responsibility to hold on to that and to protect that.
yes,
It's our responsibility when we got to speak for you or come around your family to hold ourselves to such a high standard that we respect you and you don't have to worry about what comes out of our mouth.
yeah,
It's our responsibility too. So this isn't just to say, no, a woman is supposed to be our peace. No, we are supposed to be their peace. We're supposed to be your peace as well. So before you even type on that keyboard to say that, continue watching the video because this is
absolutely,
for you.
absolutely. I think about the one part, the one thing that I want to add to that is the environments that we put you in and how we navigate those environments.
100%.
You need a man that when danger arises in the atmosphere, his priority is the protection of you, not the protection of his pride.
Yeah.
Right? Not his desire to watch and see what's going to happen or to get involved in
Yeah.
situations. His priority needs to be the safety of you and him and getting out of the situation first. And if
100%.
something comes your way, that he has the ability to be able to handle it and go about his day.
Yep.
Right? So the response, we always talked about the difference between reacting and responding.
Yep.
You need a man who knows how to respond properly. I think about something my boy Lamar told me. I want to say I was a senior and in college, and he had graduated a couple years older than me. I always looked up to Lamar, and one of the main things I always looked up to him for, he was good with girls. And at this point, I've had plenty of experiences with women. I'm good with women. And I was talking with him because we were in the car together, and he was driving like at a casual speed, like at the speed limit. And I was just asking, why you drive so slow, bro? He told me, he said, bro, let me tell you something. Women don't like that fast driving stuff.
Yeah.
Immature women will. They might find excitement in that. But women, they don't want to be in the car with a man that they got to grip onto the handles the whole entire ride because they don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
They know you're going to take off at any single moment. They don't want that. They want a man that they can trust is going to be aware and going to get where they need to go safely so they don't have that confusion. And so just adding that into the picture of what a woman needs to look for and what a man needs to think about is how you're in those dangerous environments. If he's always putting you around dangerous situations, you probably don't need to be around that man
At all.
because he ain't maneuvering in a way that's protecting you and giving you peace.
Right.
So I say that
That's
too.
good.
What's your point number 3?
Point number 3, when you stop making excuses and start operating in your God likeness. What does
Talk
that
to me.
mean, Rex?
Yeah.
Right. That means taking full responsibility for your actions and understand that you will be held accountable for what you do and what you fail to do. It means being confident in what's in you and not what's on you. Right? So at the end of the day, I've always said this: God put something in me that the world needs, and He's going to continue to intervene until it's fully developed.
Yeah.
Right? Which means that if I put myself in the right environment, if I put myself in the right community, if I put the right knowledge in front of my face and I'm reading, I'm taking it in, I'm consuming it, and I'm reading His information and His word, then He is going to make sure I'm doing exactly what I need to do. He's going to make sure that my confidence comes from within and not from everybody else.
Yes.
Right? Another thing is being responsible for those people who are assigned to you. In other words, if my lady, my fiance now, right?
Yes. Say it,
Is
brother.
assigned, you feel what I'm saying? Is assigned to me. When it comes to, I had a conversation with one of my youngest brothers today and had a conversation with my little sister today. Although they aren't my kids, they are my family, they are my blood. And if I'm in a position to do something for them, I have to do it. If I'm in a position to teach them something, I have to teach them. I can't make any excuses for my actions.
Yes.
If when we was at my proposal party, all of my siblings gave a speech, and my youngest brother said, "You know, bro, we always knew you was gonna be the one to do it. We always knew you was gonna be first. Just the way you carry yourself, the way you go about life, the way you just handle business. Like we knew that was that. Let's just say if I wasn't the type of person to handle business, let's say if I wasn't the type of person I was the type of person to make excuses. Let's just say if I was the type of person that used to be in college and I was telling him about multiple women." Right, then he's gonna think it's cool. He's gonna think it's
following,
and my big brother doing. I might as well do it too.
Yeah.
So it's making sure that you're held responsible for the people that you were assigned to. It's also being loving, forgiving, sacrificial, and selfless. Like I'm not going into these relationships. I'm not going into these buildings or these environments or even this podcast to think about what can I say to help somebody.
Yeah.
No, how can I serve Myles? How can I serve the people?
Exactly.
And what have I used in my life to get to where I am now that may be beneficial to somebody else? It's stepping into your creativity and God-given authority.
Yes.
Right? So one thing that's very important is the very first scripture, the Bible says God created the heaven and earth, right? And then it goes on to say we were created in God's image. So if we were created in God's image, then that means we are creative as well.
Yes.
And the best thing that we can do is continue to create and to have authority, because He said to have dominion.
Exactly.
Right? So with that being the case, once I step into my God likeness, then I have no more room for excuses because I'm taking full responsibility. And then the very last thing I want to say is this. It comes from John 14:12. It says, "Truly, truly, I say to you," this is God talking, "he who believes in me, the works that I do, he will also do, and greater works than these he will do." What? What?
Come on, Rex.
What?
Come on.
So you mean to tell me if I step into my God likeness, if I stop making excuses, not only can I create things, not only can I do great things, not only can I put myself in my family position, but there's a potential that I can do even greater things?
Yes.
So that lets me know that what we have in us is something greater. What we have in us is supposed to have authority. What we have in us is supposed to bring out greatness. What we have in us is supposed to allow other people to be great and be blessed and be just saved because of us. So, yeah.
I love it, bro. I love it because that is the truth. There is no limit to our power.
At all.
A man can create and destroy
Yep.
just as much as anything else on this earth. And you have to choose what man you're going to be.
Gotta choose.
You have to choose because it's power. There is power in being born as a man, right?
Yep.
God just gave it to you. And when you choose to walk down His path and walk in your God likeness, there are responsibilities that come with that. There are expectations that come with that. But there is a great sense of power and creativity that you have from that.
100%.
There's no limits to it because God has no limits.
Man.
So it's tough when you see the world and you see, man, it's like, bro, you don't even understand how good you have it.
100%.
I see cats all the time. It's like, man, y'all out here jugging cars got these switches and all these different things that y'all can do to jumpstart a car.
Yeah.
How creative you have to be to make that work.
100%.
Why can't you apply this to a trade that'll make you hundreds of thousands of dollars? Why
100%.
can't you apply this to something where you can get your engineering degree and go do something so special in the world? You clearly have the creativity and the ability, but like I said, you have the ability to create or to destroy.
Yeah.
Right? You have the ability to bring success or failure to your life and the life of others. Because Rex, the part that you have to remember is they're looking up to you.
Yep.
They've already made it up in their mind. I'm following his footsteps.
Yeah.
He's the example. And so what example you set will be the trajectory that the others will take.
Absolutely.
And you got to love that. You have to love that expectation and take it as a sign of your greatness that God has given to you.
Yeah.
And every man has that. And I really do just encourage y'all. If you have apprehensions about the things that we're saying, if you get caught up in the responsibilities that come from this, understand that we all have at a certain point.
Yeah.
Because you had to choose your spirit and you had to choose God over your flesh and over the devil. And that's not easy. That's going to be difficult. But if you say to yourself, when you see your future, you see yourself being somebody who leads a successful home, who leads a successful business, who leads successful relationships wherever they go, and is this man who just has power and control, then don't abuse it.
Yep.
And don't run from the challenge, run to it.
Don't run from the challenge, run to it. What does they say? If not me, then who? If not now, then when?
Come on.
Every single time, man. What you got for your last one?
Point number 3. As you mature into a healthy man, you care to speak on things less. And when you do talk, it better be worth your time and energy.
That's good.
And let me tell you something. I'm a talker.
Right.
Always have been and I always will be. But I'm learning to shut up and to save my words.
Yeah.
So when I talk about that, what I mean is this. When you're young, you're ready to respond to anything. It doesn't matter what it is. If you disagree with it and you don't like it, you're going to say something about it. When things offend you, they require a response. But as you get older, you learn a few things about talking and responding to people. And these are 3 of the things that you're going to learn.
Okay.
First thing you're going to learn as you get older and more mature. Most people don't care about what you have to say anyway.
That's good. Yeah.
Your words are going in one ear and out one other. And that's their right. They don't have to care. The second thing you're going to realize is even those who do care likely will not implement and apply what you're saying.
That's good.
Right? You're going to tell it to them and they care about your words, but at the end of the day, they're going to choose to do what they feel is the best thing for them to do. And the third thing is listening will tell you everything you need to know 90% of the time.
Every time.
So you get to a point to where you realize I should probably save my words because the person I'm talking to don't really care and they're not about to do anything with this. I need to save these conversations for people who actually do care and actually want to implement them. Those are the people that need this energy and this impact. You start to appreciate other people's opinions, even if they disagree with you, right? When you're maturing, it's not an attack on your character just because somebody doesn't agree with what you say.
Right.
And that's a flaw that I had for a long time. I just feel like I'm so right about everything. I know that the way I'm thinking about it and the way I'm communicating is the right way. How dare you not agree with what I'm saying? It felt like a personal attack.
Yeah.
But as I've got more mature, I realized like everybody is different for different ways and different reasons. And your way is not the only right way.
It's not.
And the last thing is you understand that your words and your actions are better spent on people who actually are going to receive and know how to comprehend. There's an old saying, Mark Twain wrote this saying, he says, don't argue with fools because from a distance, people can't tell who is who.
That's good.
I just want y'all to think about that because what it's saying is all that back and forth that you're doing and you know this person is not getting the picture. Their comprehension is not even at your level right now. It's better to walk away and let them say, hey, you know what, you got it, you right. That's fine. Go on about your day. Because from a distance, all it's going to look like is 2 idiots going back and forth with each other. And I've been an idiot before, just wanting to be right.
Yeah.
Now I realize that it's much wiser and a better use of my limited time that I have on this earth to back off from those situations and let people think what they're going to think and focus my energy on those who actually are ready to receive what I got to say.
Man, that's some amazing points. I think the two of the most important ones is listening and being selective with the information that you share. And it reminds me, one of my best friends is a dad. My fiance now, we were sitting on the porch with him, and I'm just asking questions about finances, is about investing, about Roth IRAs, and real estate. And he said to me, us actually, he said, I'm not one to share much information, and I only share it when I'm asked. He was like, because I don't want to give it to the wrong people or waste my time. So that spoke to exactly what you just said.
Yes.
This is a brother that's in his early 60s that has 60 years of information, 60 years of wisdom, 60 years of insight and different type of perspectives on family, on marriage, and all these things, on raising kids. But he only wants to share with people that wants the information.
Yes.
Because if you don't want the information, why am I sharing it?
Why?
So that's man, that's great.
I had a mentor, goes exactly what you're saying in real estate. Helped me buy my first home. Like, he gave me the whole game. He teaches people these things all the time, right? It's just his passion, whether you apply it or you don't. I applied it and I used it. And I did it at 23, 24 years old. And he told me something when I was leaving the company, because that's how I met him, was through the company. He's like, in all my years of teaching this, you're one of the few people who actually followed and listened and implemented it. And he told me, he says, you will have a friend, a mentor, and a business partner in me for the rest of my life. I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah.
Because I see that my words weren't wasted. I see that my efforts and my time were not undervalued.
Yeah.
And that's something that every man really cares about. It hurts you when you are spending so much time trying to help people, man. I can't tell you how many times I get sick and tired of friends calling me about the same situations over and over again. And I give you my heart and soul to try and help you, and you still go do the same thing.
Yeah.
It got to a point to where I started telling my friends, hey, I'm just telling you now, before we even go any deeper into all of this, before I give my advice that you calling me about, I'm only going to give this advice once.
Yeah, that's it.
Because if you go and you take this advice and then you don't apply it at all, the next time you come to me, I'm going to tell you what I tell you last time.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
That's it.
Don't come to me about what your issues are and what went wrong, or I tried this, I tried that. You didn't even listen to what I said the first time. Why am I wasting my time and my breath on you? It's disrespectful. It's a waste of my time. I thought you cared about what I had to say.
Yeah.
But clearly you don't. And so I'm not going to waste my energy on those people. When you're ready to actually apply, then come talk to me.
That's good.
So a man don't want that no more, because that don't bring you peace. Back to the other point.
Yeah.
That don't bring you peace. That just hurts your heart, causes you confusion, just makes you feel like you just wasting the little bit of time you got.
Absolutely. So listen, before we close out, I want to add one more point.
Yes.
You're maturing as a man when you start to focus less on what looks good and feels good, and you start being more intentional about who and what is good for you.
Yes.
In other words, now, please don't think that I'm saying that you don't want your woman. A woman is not supposed to look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always want to have somebody that's attractive.
Yep.
But when you only go for what's attractive, what feels good, then you're going to be stuck in this cycle. Because I can't name one couple, right, that has lasted. The woman looked absolutely amazing but had no substance. I
It
can't
always
name one.
fails.
It always fails. Is either they're going to be a headache, they're not going to bring you peace. You're going to end up being an insecure man because her attraction is going to attract everybody else, and because of who she isn't,
I like that.
because who she isn't, she's not going to have what it takes to back them bad boys up.
Yeah.
Right. So with that being the case, when you start focusing on what's inside of a person, when you start focusing on their spirituality, their relationship with God, right? Can they pray? Right? Do they have a self-care routine? Right? Do they have a good community? Do they have a good family?
Yes.
Right? How well do they talk to you when they're upset? How well do they deal with conflict? How well do they deal with their emotions? When you start thinking about those aspects, like, do they respect you in your presence and outside of your presence? Right? Do they communicate well? Right? Are they willing to go to church with you? Are they willing to be led? Are they willing to lead in certain areas? Right? Are they willing to make sacrifices? When you start thinking about those things and you combine that with attraction, then your outcome is a lot more fruitful.
There we go. That's it. But the more you want, and that all comes back to how you presenting yourself too. Because a
100%.
lot of times, if you value that attraction, you probably one of the main dudes that when you go out anywhere, you got to have all the designer on. You
100%.
got to have the nicest car. You have to have everything looking a certain way because your esteem and your self worth is so low.
Yeah.
And your values are shallow. And so
100%.
you also choose a shallow woman. Yet you expect depth out of her in the roles that she's supposed to play.
Not gonna
Brother, you
happen.
played yourself because you didn't even get you in order first. And you out here operating and choosing women off of that, man. Come on.
It's,
And I have one thing I wanted to
go
add real
ahead.
quick and then we can go to the letter. This is back to my first point about time, right? As you're maturing, you don't operate out of haste and impatience anymore. You understand that things take time and you're okay with that, right? And it reminds me of something. I was just having a conversation with my brother Kieran yesterday. And he said, you stop caring about your timeline and you start focusing on God's timeline because you realize it's going to happen when God wants it to happen. All you can control is the input.
Yep, that's it.
It's the effort. That's it.
That's it.
So that's a very good one for men out there because I know you have dreams and you have aspirations. And I know sometimes it feels like it's taking forever for it to get here.
Yep.
This is a key way to know that you're maturing is when you're like, look, it's been 6 months. That's okay. That ain't even nowhere near enough
Yep.
time. 6 months flies by. I got 2 more years of putting this effort in before it even feels like I've done something.
Yep.
I got work to do.
100%. And one more small example on top of that. My most viral clip is when I talked about emotional intelligence,
Yes.
right? Before we released that clip, I read that in the book 2 years ago.
Wow.
And that was my first time talking about it live.
Wow.
So once again, even with the information that you consume,
Exactly.
you never know when you're going to need it. But it
Exactly.
came out the right time, and now that was posted 2 months ago, and it's still flowing,
Going crazy.
It's still going
Hundreds
crazy.
of thousands of views.
Man, so let's talk like men letter.
Yes, sir.
All right, so there's the young man that's in a relationship with a young lady that's healthy, mature, and intentional. But he finds himself thinking about a previous ex-partner that checks in with him from time to time. Their relationship was lustful and toxic with the ex-partner. He isn't sure what he should do because he loves his lady, but he also can't seem to let go of his ex either. What should he do?
I done been here. I've been here, so I'm going to tell you right now. First off, that girl that's reaching out to you, she's not reaching out because she wants anything good for your life. Because if she did, first off, she'd leave you be.
Yeah.
You in a happy relationship with a woman who treats you right,
Yeah.
and you don't have those issues, that ain't nothing but the devil popping up at that door.
100%.
Don't answer. Don't open that door for him. Second thing I'm going to tell you is, if you are in the position where you consciously know you got a good woman right here and you got a woman right here that you already went down that road with and that wasn't what you wanted, and you are still battling between those two, brother, part of me wants to say go be single.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing nothing right by her and you clearly don't want happiness.
Yeah.
The other part of me wants to say you need to ask yourself, like we said before, from a maturity perspective, what is worth it?
Yeah.
What do them texts do for you? Oh, hey, how are you doing? There ain't no value in that. My mama can ask me that.
Right.
I need somebody to ask me how am I doing. My girlfriend can ask me that.
Yeah.
My homeboy can ask me that. Why does this person, the person that you've had history with, that you know don't serve your true intentions and where you want to go, there's a spirit in you that you need to kill, brother.
Yeah.
That lustfulness got a hold on you, and he's gonna tear you apart if you don't cut it off now.
Yeah.
Kill that snake
Yeah.
in your garden.
Yeah. Got to.
So that's my advice, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, I got you.
What do you think?
Only thing I'm gonna add to that is more introspection. It's truly identifying that tie that you have with that person, right? Maybe y'all have so much history and something bad happened to them, you were there for them. Maybe something bad happened to you and you're there for them. Maybe you feel like you owe them. Maybe you feel like you just can't let them go. I need you to identify that thing. Maybe it's you forgiving them for something, or maybe it's you forgiving yourself for something. Maybe it's you realizing that was my first love and it's just hard to let go of my first love. But I need you to get to the bottom of why that thing is a thing. Another thing is I definitely want you to be single.
Yes.
Right? Because if partner B finds out about partner A and partner B can't have the access that they want, they're going to do whatever they can do in their power to mess up everything with partner A.
Yes.
And you have to take that responsibility. Once again, you have to protect your new lady's heart.
Yes.
And we said this on podcast before. If you don't let go of what's old, you'll never be able to give yourself fully to what's new. So keep that in mind. Realize that. And then the last thing, I would say, come see me. You know, if you got an
Come on.
issue with relationships, with some trauma from the past, anything that you may be dealing with, anxiety, depression, about whatever may be coming up, come see me and we'll work through that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I want to say this because you mentioned something. I had that savior's complex, and that kept me in a lot of situations. I talked about this before about how I had all these girls that were still hanging around that I kept as friends, right? That wasn't no friendships, right? But what it was is I remember when I was single and messing with these girls, I used to say, hey, no matter what happens here, I'm gonna be a great example of a man for you. I'm
Yep.
gonna make sure that when this situation, whether it's good or bad, however it ends, you're gonna have a great example to go off of. And I carried that like a badge of honor. But what I realized is when you get into a relationship and you're still trying to be that badge of honor for women that are not that woman, brother, you're off.
Yeah.
It's not gonna lead to where you want to lead. And it kept me feeling guilty, kept me keeping these people in mind because I wanted to care about their feelings more than I wanted to care about the person whose feelings I was supposed to protect.
Absolutely.
So just let go of that guilt, that savior's complex, and just realize like you're gonna be the bad guy in somebody's story anyway. You might
100%.
as well go be the good guy and the person that's treating you right.
Yep. Every single time.
All right, Rex. So that's this episode. Let's run down where people can find you.
Absolutely. So if you want to find me personally, it's at I am Rex Howard Jr. on all my platforms. If you want to find us on the podcast, it's Let's Talk Like Men podcast. Like I always say on every episode, we appreciate you guys for the likes, for the shares, for the comments, for the devotion, just for pouring into our page. We're growing by the day, literally
Yes.
hundreds of followers by the day, and we couldn't do that without you guys. And lastly, if you need a counselor or a coach, go to resolvecc.com. And I'll take care of you.
Absolutely. You can find me at www.milesthemillennial.com. All socials, Miles the Millennial. You're looking for a motivational speaker for young adults and youth. If you are looking to buy books for young adults and youth to help them get through life and what they're trying to process, you can definitely reach out on my website or DM me and we can make something happen. We appreciate you guys, like you said. And I thank God for the platform and the impact that we are able to have. So thank you all. And we'll see you guys next week.
ya next week.
Peace.